Welcome, ladies and gentlemen. This is a tutorial to help you kind of understand what you're doing with the Kinetics Lab. So you're going to find the folder. It is currently in April 5th, 21 to April 9th, 2021 folder. It is going to expand over the rest of this week and next. So it's starting on April 8th, and it goes through all of next week. So you will reference both folders. So you're going to go ahead and get into the lab. And the first thing you'll want to do is open up the full PDF and read it. So here's the introduction. You'll read the introduction. The introduction will help you answer the pre-lab questions. So you'll read the introduction and answer the pre-lab questions. Then you will upload your answers to your pre-lab questions in the corresponding assignment in the folder that I just left. You will click on this link for the procedure. Okay, you will do nothing over here. Okay, this will be data that you place in your data table. You will not change anything here. You will not change anything here. Things will change here, but you will not physically change them. You will be setting these to different concentrations. You'll be setting this here to different concentrations. Okay, so you'll set the KiO3 to different concentration, the buffers to different buffers, and the Ki to different concentrations based on your experiment. Okay, so you'll change things here. This will then change. So if you notice, these are the concentration of iodate, the concentration of H+, the concentration of H3ASO3, and the concentration of iodine ion, and you're going to also have the temperature. These 5 numbers will be recorded in your data table as you make changes to this side. So you're only changing this side, which will affect this side. For instance, if you notice here, I have these values. When I change this from 0.01 to 0.02, what changes is this. And these will be the things that you'll place in. So you'll set up each of your pieces according to your experiment. And then you will set them up, and then you'll do a mixed solutions. You're going to see this screen here. You're going to start your timer. You're going to wait to see when you get that blue color there. You'll have your cursor over the stop, because as soon as it turns to the purple blue, you want to stop your timer. And then you're going to record the time in your data table. Okay, and then you're going to do 3 trials of the same experiment. So you'll do a reset, and that just resets it to the same things you had a moment ago. Again, start the timer, stop the timer. You will need to take a picture per experiment. You're going to do 4 experiment sets, 3 trials each, so 12 runs at least. And so you want to take a picture of that timer with the purple in the background per experiment set. So once you've done this 3 times and taken a picture of one of the 3 trials, then you will go back and you'll go to prepare solutions, and then you'll set to the next criterion, whatever that is, and then you'll mix solutions. You'll put these numbers here into your data table. You'll mix solutions. The numbers also come over here, and do that again. Again, you will run this 12 times, 3 times per experiment set. And you will need to send an image of each experiment, 1 image of each experiment of one of the 3 trials that you do per experiment. Okay, so now I'm back to the full PDF of the lab, and just goes through the details with you. It's going to give your experimental sets of what you're going to do and how you're going to run it, so pay attention to that in the write-up. Now I've gone down to page 6. And this image is attached in the appropriate Schoology assignment. You will fill in your information here, either print off or annotate on top of the PDF that's in the assignment. You're gonna these values here all come from that image that was to the right. So I think I can. So those values come from this image when you do that per experiment. So these values here, these 12 values will come from that. You will be calculating this later on in the lab and bring it back to this data table. Okay, you'll be recording your time from your trials while you're running those 12 trials here in seconds. Don't forget to record the temperature. You're going to calculate the average later on in the lab, so you're not going to fill this in until after you've gotten all of your data collected. You will then, this is where you will calculate your average time for your 4 experiments. And here's where you'll calculate the rate for each of the 4 experiment sets. And this explains how you're going to do it. You need to show your work to get credit, including units, in all areas. You will then use this formula to calculate the order for each of the 3 reactants, here, just like we've shown before. Just like we've done before. You'll write the expression including the orders, and then you'll use that expression to calculate the rate law per experiment and then find an average of the 4 rate law constant. I said the wrong thing. You'll calculate the rate law constant from your per experiment. So you'll get 4 values of K and then take the average value of the rate law constant. And then you have follow-up questions to apply. All of these pieces are submitted per page. So you'll see in that folder areas to submit them. So let me go through that and show you that. Okay, I'm moving out of the full PDF and I'm going over to the back to the folder where it houses all the assignments. So here's where you're going to upload the pre-lab questions, and there's a link to just that PDF here. Here is where you're going to upload your first picture from experiment 1, your image you took of one of the trials you took for experiment 1. You'll upload an image of one of the trials you took for experiment 2, 3, and 4, and so on. And then this is where you will upload your data and your average time calculation page. And then this is where you'll upload the rate calculation page. And this is where you'll upload the reactant orders and the rate law constant calculations, and then the follow-up questions. So even though these aren't due, they're spread out for due dates, some of this is going to be done ahead of time. It just may not be ready to be uploaded until you finish other pieces. So understand that even though this is due on the 9th, you are still needing to fill out information here for the data table. So these are your images while the whole time you're filling out information on your data table. So it's kind of a fluid process. You're going to have to be going back and forth to do that. So I won't ask you to upload the data table until you've gotten all your trials taken. So you'll be taking all this information, uploading a picture, and at the same time filling out the data table. So what do I mean by that? You'll be filling out data along the way onto this PDF as you're collecting the data. So this will be open up starting day 1 or day 2 where you're filling out this information here into the 2 data tables. So that'll be open the whole time or out the whole time while you're collecting data, and then you'll work through calculations when you're done. Reach out if you have any questions.